Hello everyone, this is Commander Trium talking to you once again from the Elite Dangerous universe. And tonight on Elite Dangerous, we have more from the California sector. Again, we may be doing some hardware reconfig here, but on the whole, things are looking pretty good. We need replacements. Wow, that's really loud. Let's see if we can turn it down just a touch there. No, it's still pretty loud. Give us a moment. Let's see what we got here. That's a little better. Hello. How are you doing? Hello. Hang on a moment. Ship voice volume, player voice comms. Okay, try now.
Any better yet?
No.
Well, last night you seemed to hear me without any major issues, and I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, I just can't understand the thing you're saying. It's just not, hang on. Optimize full range. Okay, try now.
Is that any better?
Marginally. Try now.
Better yet? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's still coming through like overridden with static.
I've got a fan turned on behind me, but that ain't getting turned off. That I can guarantee you. It's too damn humid here right now. So that might be...
You shouldn't have to do that. Okay, I've got the music muted here. Non-player voice communication volume. Try now.
Can you hear me now?
Again, I can hear you. It's just overridden with static. That's fucked up.
I don't know.
Well, let's try this. Hang on a second. Okay, try talking now.
Can you understand what I'm saying better?
Yes, now it is, but now it's too quiet.
Would you have to turn your volume down?
I don't know what is going on. I've got this on boost. I've got the volume settings up to maximum. Like, it's just... Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I got you loud and clear as well. I got these Sony headphones going through an extension cable. And,
your extension cable could be bad.
yeah, but it works fine with the other headset, and I don't know why. And it's less good quality. Another thing just happened where the game is now locked. I can't, hang on. Maybe it's this F2 thing here. Elite doesn't like you using multiple F keys at the same time. There we go. Okay, so we're back at Darwin. Okay, so I guess we're back in the game now, finally. I don't know what to say about that audio thing.
Never know.
Here, I'm going to set the audio parameters up again to boost. Sound effects are going to become unlimited. Well, things are a bit louder now. I'm inside the station and I can hear the station again, so I don't know. It's pretty warped.
There's been times where I've had it just be randomly stupid and can't seem to figure out why.
I've never had this thing.
Maybe it's the game's way of replicating random glitches in reality that we have. From time to time, just dumb shit happens that we have no control over.
Maybe. Alright, so, where are you right now?
I am currently at, what the hell is it? Fucking station where we pick up all the missions where I've been at for a while.
Yeah, so I
got
got this huge fucking bounty at Nick Turner Base when I had like half a dozen police ships all scan me at the same time. They wouldn't relent. So that was the end of that. So I'm now going back to that system over and over again with threat of bounty termination, but I'm taking criminals and I'm just going to the non-planetary, you know, the sightseeing artifact above the planet, and not visiting the planet anymore. But a lot of my stuff is there. I guess I can transfer it to another base. I don't really like that though. I had never seen that many ships just come out of the blue and start fucking scanning the hell out of me when I approached the station before. I was able to land there and take off, no problems. All of a sudden, they just surprised and suddenly turned hostile. So the only way I'm going to fix that is by visiting an interstellar factors facility.
Or commit suicide.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So, interstellar factors is
services. Oh, great! I'm gonna get interdicted by 5 different people on this run. Boot his ass right all shit before I leave the station.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. I need to fix this Oculus headset. It's just like the speakers are gone. They just don't work anymore. And if the speakers in the headset are screwed, the only thing I can do is get a repair kit for it, I guess. If one can exists. I don't honestly know. Not a...
Yeah, you bought them when they were still kind of new technology, so you're gonna have issues and glitches with them, unfortunately.
Well, unfortunately for them, I'm not going to be buying from them again a second time. I'll go with the HTC Vive. Because this is representative of Oculus quality, I mean, I'm not very impressed. It didn't even last 2 years. Like, this is a piece of computer hardware that cost me $800. So either I find a repair kit or I'm just going to go with the HTC.
You could always get a hold of them, tell them, yeah, there's all kinds of issues here. Can I send them in and get them repaired? And even if it, say, costs you $100 to have them fixed, that's a better option than buying new again, but I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, for $100, I should probably be able to find a reputable dealer who will give me a repair kit, so...
Yeah. Well, it depends if you want to try and fix it yourself or have a... Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. That's kind of one of the reasons I haven't gotten into the whole VR settings yet, because it's a whole lot of money I don't want to take time with.
Well, I expect there to be a degree of quality in everything that is purchased, not just, it's too new. Well, then don't sell it. If it's not ready, it's not ready.
It might not be a bad idea just to call them up and say, hey, I'm having issues.
You can't call Oculus. They don't have a phone number. I discovered that when it came to, and that was another issue. They had a software update that went completely sideways on them last year, and it fucked every Oculus user in the world up. You couldn't use your Oculus for, a good week. And because of this software glitch, like there was a driver update and it just did not work. Period. And as a result, that was during the Facebook purchase of the company. So I was like, well, that's stupid. So whatever. Now that Facebook has them, honestly don't know. I don't really trust Facebook, and I don't really, I'm not wed to going back to Oculus a second time if this has been the experience. I mean, the hand controls are preferable. There are aspects to the Oculus design that I do like, and I know I'm going to like them better than the HTC. But at the same time, I expect quality for what I'm purchasing, and I'm just not getting it out of them. And they're not even... I mean, for a company not to have a 1-800 number for you to call for support is unheard of in our industry. So, like, how do you not have, at least a call center with staff?
Well, I know Sony used to make video games. Well, they sold out to Daybreak. And Daybreak, you can't get a hold of them by the phone. I know that. I just have to email back and forth. Eventually, they pissed me off. I just stopped fucking dealing with them and stopped playing their stupid fucking games. And what it boiled down to is, I had an account years ago for a game that Sony had. Well, I was having an issue with a different game. Well, they wanted, because you had to have login credentials to log into the Sony itself or into Daybreak. Well, and I couldn't come up with a password because this was an account that I had fucking almost 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, they thought their way of verifying who I am was for me to tell them what the credit card number, the debit card number was that I used on those purchases on that account back then. I'm like, dude, I don't have that information. They try to tell me, well, I have that information. Everybody has that. I'm like, trying to explain. The bank does not keep that information. That debit card gets replaced. They delete those numbers and that information out of their fucking system.
Yeah.
It's a security issue.
Yeah.
And it's like,
in Canada, that's
taking over a dozen games.
In Canada, it's illegal to keep someone's credit card information on file for longer than a certain period. So
a lot of people, well, they try to tell me, well, all you got to do is go look on, if you use eBay, go look at eBay. It's like, I didn't start an eBay account until 3 years after I stopped playing that game.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they should have that information. No, they don't. It's like, they're just, they didn't comprehend that modern business practices are, if it's not valid billing information, they delete it because it is a safety issue, a security issue, and it's useless to have that information.
Yeah.
Yes, it's saved on a server somewhere, but eventually that space used up for useless information starts costing money after a while.
Oh yeah, huge.
And I just gave up on them. It's like, fine, you want to be stupid? I just won't play your fucking games.
Yeah.
It's not like they're very good games to start with after they took over. After they took over and bought out Sony, but it's like, shit.
Yeah.
That's the best you can do.
Like I said, with a lot of Oculus users turned away from Oculus as a result of that software update because it makes no goddamn sense. Like, why can't you call Oculus? They just don't have a phone number. It's impossible.
The inability and incompetence of some companies, it just makes you wonder, how are you still in business?
They aren't. Not for long.
Well, yeah, they stay in business by trying to fucking be stupid.
Well, Oculus after a certain point wasn't about making money off the hardware. It was about looking right for a company like Facebook to come in and take them over and boost their share value. And this is what I was saying before about that triangle where you have, on the one hand, you have your employees, on another side you have customers, and on the third side you have shareholders, right? And a good company keeps all three in balance. If you cater to your customers too much, your company is going to find itself getting taken advantage of, and it's not going to be able to, produce new product lines and serve customers very well in the end. If you balance in favor of the employees, well, the employees suck all the value out of the company themselves. They take lengthy vacations. There's staffing issues. It's not very good. And if the shareholders end up taking all the, if the company's biased in favor of shareholder value, well, then again, you're pissing off your customers, and you are likely pissing off your employees too, because you're not running the company as it should be run. All you're doing is trying to make it look right for takeover, which means your employees are going to be dissatisfied. They're going to try to find other jobs. You're going to lose mind share. And
that's the reason I like working for a company that's privately owned. You get rid of the shareholder equation. All you have is the employees and the customers. As long as you keep them happy, you're going to keep making a profit.
Yeah, but there's always a shareholder. Like, if it's a family-run business, then you still have the family. They're effectively, the surrogate shareholders because they own the private stock of the company. Every company in Canada, at least,
instead of having 5,000 owners, you got 5 owners. 5 owners are easier to get them to.
Oh, you can get consensus out of them and direction.
Get along.
Yeah, and vision. You can get those things out of 5 people, but you can also have a small.
A lot of times, as long as the company I work for, the old man that started the business is technically still in charge. He makes any major decisions. I mean, it's all got to get ran through for his approval. His kid, one of his kids, is on the board of directors, blah, 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 for the company, but his kid went out and started his own damn business, and years later kind of merged his business in with the old man's business. His business is still separate, but they're kind of sister companies.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
Well,
kind of an
if they have a
interesting
board,
dynamic.
okay, if they have a board of directors, though, they're at least incorporated. And if they're they normally in the United States, if you're going to have a commercial organization of any serious size with hundreds of employees or dozens of employees, because
they're in the thousands.
Well, whatever. But
so
the
that gives you an idea of the size.
Yeah, well, whatever. The point is that if you have a certain number of employees, you definitely want to incorporate at least, even if it's privately held, because if you don't incorporate, and this is especially true in the United States, I expect, you open yourself to litigations under circumstances where the company doesn't do very well, and then suddenly the employees are like, well, what about my pension? What about the things I was contractually? They can go after you, the family that owns the company can go after their houses, their cars, their possessions. They can take all that stuff away.
I know how that goes, because I did look into it one time, starting a business of my own.
Yeah. So you want to incorporate to limit your liability and exposure to legal repercussions, so that yes, you're held to account, but only so far. If you declare bankruptcy, then at least it doesn't necessarily affect you personally.
Well, if you're incorporated, they can't come after you personally. They can just come after the company.
That's right.
That's the major.
But the main difference you're suggesting here is that not that it isn't incorporated, it is, but that it is privately held. So there are a number of shares. There are therefore shareholders, and therefore.
If it's family owned, the family is more invested into the business. And they don't have to answer to anybody but themselves.
That's true, yeah.
So, I mean, within reason, if it's privately owned, and most of businesses I've ever worked for were privately owned.
But don't forget, whoever has the most number of shares, if it's a single owner situation, that owner has to maintain 50% plus one of the shares in order to have voting control. Otherwise, if it's 50-50 split right down the middle, once again, the direction you can drift, it can become difficult to split. If the family ever gets split on the direction a company should take, you can end up with non-decisions where the company's just deadlocked. And if the owner. If the quote-unquote owner who invested very heavily gives away too much of the value, so that he had only 30% of the shares in the company, and the rest of his, the 12 or 15 members of his family, if they had the rest of the shares, there's nothing stopping the rest of the family from doing a hostile takeover and just simply booting out that one remaining shareholder, telling him, here's what we're going to do. We're going to value your shares at X amount of dollars, and you're going to take this payout, and that's that. And by direction of the board, and there's nothing that they could do to stop him. So because one share
there
equals,
is to a certain point, depending on how much of his business he wants to share.
Maybe, but it's the share count is what determines how many votes you have, and the number of votes you have obviously dictates.
No, that's just it. I mean, like the business that I work for, I'm not 100% sure. I guess I could.
Normally they wouldn't tell.
The business they try to be as open as they can. I mean, pretty much you ask questions, they answer them. I mean, there's rarely anything they say that's none of your business. But from my understanding, the old man still has control of the business. He's got he's got a management team in place to run the day-to-day shit. Sure. And his boys and his son is one of these people on that board.
Yeah. And now,
from my understanding, the son started his own business, and it's now a bit of a sister company. But I don't think the son could actually take over the business till the old man decides he's done and sells out.
No, the reason you accept non-voting control is so that you can share in the profits. When there's profit-taking activities in the company, and normally there are, when there's profit taking done, it's usually done also to the shareholder investment. So if Daddy has 50% plus 1 and the sons don't, they have 49% minus 1, then they would end up getting roughly a 50-50 split, but Daddy gets the extra, whatever the share value is. So
I don't know if the kid even has any actual ownership in this company.
Yeah.
Because he only finally merged into or became a sister company like 2 years ago.
Well, if it's a corporate structure, I suspect there are shares, and I suspect that he does have some holdings. But what the value of the holdings are when it's privately held like that is very difficult to say. It's not an open trade situation, right? They're not listed with any market. All the incorporation documents in Canada say is that, okay, you have to pick some number of shares. And in my own case, there are 10 shares in my company. I hold all of them, 100%. So I can, I have to hold an annual general meeting. It consists of me. I pass all of my acts. I brief all my shareholders. I brief myself, and that's it. We're doing extremely well.
I'm sure there's differences in the way Canada that it's handled in Canada compared to here.
I'm sure.
But I've never gotten that deep into it.
No, neither have I. But I do know that it is a requirement of the Corporations Act in Canada that you have to hold this AGM, the annual general meeting. So that's there mostly for companies that have, where there's more than one person holding 100% of all the shares. But my liability is still limited. I can't be sued for incompetence or things of this nature if I'm working on contract. Of course, I'm not incompetent. But if I were,
that's not necessarily the point. The point is to protect you against pissed off.
Yeah.
A potential pissed off employee or customer.
That's exactly right. Yeah. They can't come after my scooters, my car, my possessions. They can sue the company's value if they want. If they think that they've been harmed by my company, then yes, they can sue the company and its holdings in bank accounts and value and whatever. But they can't come after me personally, and I can pay. And normally, I would pay myself out of the, I do a bank transfer between the business account, which I control, and my personal accounts on payday. So, I'm feeling pretty good this long weekend because I just had payday. So, yay! I actually got paid on time, so that was a good thing. And now because
the governments generally try to pay their employees on a regular basis.
Oh well, the government
often.
I wasn't worried about the government. I was worried about the new company, the new contracting agent that I actually am in a subcontractor relationship with. So what ends up happening here is the government pays the contract agent, the people who are usually a larger company and have some number of retained incorporated companies like mine that they can call upon to do the actual work. They themselves don't do the actual work. They recruit people like me to do that. And so I was worried that the contractors, were not going to pay me on time. Because I didn't have any reputation. Normally I look at the company's reputation before I get into a business relationship with them, and I say, well, and I've heard horror stories. There have been cases where subcontractors end up getting ripped off. Someone doesn't pay after 90 days, you can take them to small claims or, theft over 5,000 or fraud or whatever, and you can go after them. But then you can usually get a ruling in your favor, but then you have to worry about enforcement. Sheriff's office isn't going to just come and do whatever you tell them to. You have to either retain collection services or put liens on the properties of the contract agent, which usually are fairly non-existent. They normally rent space, so they don't really own very much, right? And they have limited liability protections as well. So it's not an ideal situation in every case. And I was a little concerned about it, but as it turned out, they paid their bill and everything's cool. In fact, I have to invoice them again now for the August time frame, which I will be paid out at the end of September. Of course, July, they paid June off now, so now the next month will be July. I'll get even more money, and then we'll see after that. I have to make some adjustments to my income because I have a second income, so I have to discontinue that one. I think if this one goes for more than 3 months, and then but this first stint, wait, no, it was July I was paid for. It was July I was paid for at the end of August, so it'll be August I'm paid for at the end of September. So it's net 30, effectively, as we call it here. You're paid after 30 days after the end of your contract, but my contract started, like I actually went to work the very first day. It's been 2 months that I've been there. So... It's called net 30, but really we're at 60 days since I started the contract. You know, it's kind of an awkward situation to get into. It's not ideal. It was set up by a right-leaning conservative Canadian political party that was elected into office back a couple of terms ago. The current government is a liberal, centrist liberal government, so they will call the Liberal Party. In Canada, we have two sort of natural governing parties. We have the Liberals, which are historically they have taken the majority of the seats in the House of Commons and therefore formed the government. In Canada, as in any parliamentary democracy, if you take the most number of seats, normally the people in the seats that have won will support their party leader to become the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister gets to form a cabinet and form a government under the direction of the Viceroy, the Governor General, who's the representative of the Queen, who has no real power except in time of apprehended insurrection or warfare. And even then, the only time in Canadian history I can point to and say this actually was relevant was when the Governor General was basically instructed by the Prime Minister of Canada during the Quebec separation crisis, called the October Crisis in the late 1960s. There were a group of terrorists that took a couple of British cabinet ministers that were visiting Canada at the time. They took them hostage, and it was a big deal. So they murdered one of them, and then demanded a plane to Cuba. They all got away out of Canada, out to Cuba, but they couldn't go anywhere else in the world, and they ended up coming to Canada and serving prison sentences rather than just be on the run for the rest of their lives. And they're now all out of jail. They were called the FLQ, the Fédération de Libération de Québec. So, a little bit of Canadian history there for you. But during that period, it was the Prime Minister that actually instructed the Governor General how to conduct the government under direct rule. It's tantamount to martial law. In the American experience, I don't know what happens in a war. I'm not clear in the United States. If there is a war, if Congress has declared war on another nation state, does the president exercise direct rule in that case?
No. If Congress declares war, the president is effectively Commander-in-Chief. He is in control of any military decisions, period.
Okay.
He does not have to ask Congress for their okay to bomb this place or whatever. He basically has total control. As far as the rest of the country goes, we still function. knowing that we're in a state of war, and that if need be, restrictions can be put on certain resources. The government, I guess, could theoretically impose certain sanctions amongst the populace if need be, but I think our economy is so strong at this point in time that they wouldn't have to. I mean, the government needs more brass bullets. They're not going to have to take that away from the general populace.
The only war I can think of in the last century of American history that posed where the United States was under any serious threat was that from Nazi Germany. And it took a while for the American people to even recognize that Nazi Germany was the threat it was. Like, they really were trying to take everything over. They were going to
The United States realized it, but we were trying our damnedest to stay neutral.
Yeah,
we did not actually join. We were friendly towards France and England, and we gave them munitions.
Oh, you
weapons,
sure did. There was a huge amount of support from the United States that went to Britain.
Yeah. Hitler did not want the United States to actually join the war because he was smart enough to realize that our economy was strong enough and our manufacturing capabilities, we could out-manufacture Germany 10 to 1, and he could not compete. He knew this.
Yeah.
So he did not want Italy or Japan to even mess with the United States. Japan decided they wanted to increase their empire. They attacked.
I think the world realized that the Americans were going to, they had been out of the war to that point, and when Pearl Harbor was bombed, they realized, and then whoever, what's his name, invaded Italy. When the American troops landed in Italy, that was the end, the beginning of the end, right there. I mean, you could just see it, right? Like, okay, you've got a fresh, clean infusion of troops coming from overseas, and now they're invading Italy and heading north.
You have a bunch of pissed off Americans who are going to make everyone regret Japan attacking us.
Absolutely.
We tried our damnedest to stay out of the conflict, out of the war. I mean, we really didn't. We're giving supplies to our allies on the condition that we don't get drug into it.
Well, that and the United States was negotiating with Japan to try to stay out of the war, and then Japan, all of us, from the American perspective, is not what actually happened. It turned out that the Japanese had intended to declare war on the United States before Pearl Harbor, but due to there was some confusion.
Japan had been, since the 1880s, they had been tapping the talent of the military geniuses that they were coming through their military ranks, trying to figure out how to attack the United States for territories and islands and land possessions that we had that they wanted.
Yeah.
They've been at it. They've been trying to figure out for a good 50 years how to take certain things away from the United States, how to wage a war and win.
Yeah.
So they've been at it for a long time trying to figure out how to attack us and how to defeat us.
But the protocol, the thing that pissed the American people off at the time, it was my understanding, was that the protocols of wars between nation states were violated. And this just pissed them off even more. Because now you had Japan, it was a surprise attack, while it had not declared war on the United States yet, from the American point of view, right? It's all of a sudden, boom, Pearl Harbor's been blasted to smithereens. Well, hold on a second here. No, it's not how you do this. First of all, you declare war, then you get to attack. You give the country a chance to pull its diplomats, you give them, a chance to put their defenses in order and get ready for a conflict, in order to preserve life, is the idea.
The world was used to civilized warfare at a certain point.
Well,
the United States kind of not really engaged in the civilized aspect, but there is a certain protocol that the United States observed.
But even since then, if you look at the United States and how it's waged war, has the United States ever surprised the hell out of anyone? And just gone in and destroyed them? I can't think of a single case of it ever doing that.
During the first desert storm, after it had already been known that we're coming for you.
Yeah.
A week or two, we had just come in and carpet bomb something. I mean,
yeah,
just
but they
totally
knew.
devastated.
But then, like you just said,
they knew to expect
they knew
some kind of retaliation.
That's right. So I mean, it wasn't a formal declaration of war from Congress, no. But at the same time, they knew.
It was more or less a war. At certain points, they've gotten a warning. Hey, if you don't stop, we will do something.
Yeah, we will intervene. Yeah.
I mean, Syria a while back got warned, if you do this, we will
respond,
retaliate. Yeah. And what did Syria do? They called their bluff, and we fucking carpet bombed a certain airport or city or something.
Well, that bastard
wiped it off the map.
That bastard Assad has got to go. I mean, that.
Yeah, I agree with that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not like we just surprise. We're here. We're going to carpet bomb you. It's like you've had ample warning. We've told you, if you continue, we will retaliate.
Assad needs a bullet in the head. That's what he needs. And I wouldn't shed a tear, and I don't think the rest of the world would either, if the Americans took a fucking drone plane and planted a nice high caliber round right through the man's skull, and that solves that problem. I mean, you might get someone worse, but odds are you won't.
Years ago, when the United States went after Osama bin Laden, he was there in what? He was in fucking Afghanistan or some shit.
Well, he dug himself into a hole.
We suspected he was there. We tried to be diplomatic and say, hey, we believe he's here, and they're like, no, there's no way he is. Yeah. Well, we went in and we found him there, and guess what? Well, Afghanistan got all butt sore because the United States infringed upon their sovereignty. Well, the United States basically said, well, you said he wasn't there. Yeah. Explain that one. You told the whole world he was not there, yet we found him here.
Yeah, the United States Bush made a bit of a mistake. Bush Jr. made a mistake in getting Colin Powell up in front of the UN and pointing out that Iraq still had a nuclear weapons program when they didn't. That's going to cost the United States. I really, really hated that at the time because I knew the world's not going to just take your word for it anymore. They would have before. I mean, people were ready to just accept that. I was ready to, and so was everyone else. Now, now you got to question it because it happened once, right? And I wish it was as simple as just trusting the president, but I can't just trust the president anymore. Thanks to Bush.
At this point in time, I think it's become more or less the United States isn't necessarily going to go and say, hey, this is what we've been finding. We're letting the rest of the world say, hey, this is what we know.
Yeah.
I mean, all the other countries, they're the ones that are going to say, well, this is what Iraq has, or this is what Syria has, and then the United States, we're kind of like, well, okay, fine. Everybody else says you have this. Either you get rid of it, or we'll come in and get rid of it for you.
Yeah, well,
it's just slightly different stance.
It's that much harder though when you have to rely on a body like the UN to go in and send inspectors in. You know, these people have regulations they have to follow, and they're there. All those regulations are there for a reason. They have to respect national sovereignty. I mean, the UN is not the federation of the world. The UN is not that powerful. It is basically an organization that is servant to the Assembly of States, and that's all the UN is. So if the Security Council votes in favor of something, that's all really good and wonderful. But as you know, there are the five major world powers control the Security Council in perpetuity. They're guaranteed a seat. The United States is one of them. Canada periodically has a seat on the Security Council, but we're not guaranteed one.
The five main ones are the United States, Great Britain, France,
and China, and Russia.
Yeah, China and Russia.
Yeah, those are the other two.
And that's why there's a lot of times a lot of bickering, because Russia and China will tend to side with each other, and the United States and Britain and France tend to side with each other.
I don't think China's really pro-Russian, though. I mean, they're sort of...
No, they're not really pro-Russian, but since they're in that, I mean, they're neighbors. They are literally neighbors.
Yeah,
they tend to
they
have
share
better
a border
relations between each other than we do with the rest.
I mean, the United States and Russia
It's
share a
more
border
east
too.
versus west mentality.
Don't forget, the United States and Russia share a border too in the north with Alaska and the Kamchatka Peninsula. But
the United States and Russia don't necessarily, they're not necessarily on good terms.
not all the time. Like I told you before, Putin's days are numbered. I don't think he's going to be there much longer. I think he's pissed off. Putin's
is 70 years old. I mean, at some point in time, he's going to kick the bucket.
He's just he's going to have
just like Fidel Castro is 80-some years old.
No, you know what's going to happen to Putin?
He's physically incapable of being in charge anymore. So I mean,
Putin's going to get a deal. He's going to be told, look, step down, and you'll be allowed to retire to a nice, quiet life in the countryside with, you know, all sorts of amenities. If you say no, we'll remove you the unpleasant way. There is the alternative, in other words. Death probably is on the list. I don't think Putin is stupid. I think he's probably going to take the deal, and he'll walk. And he'll let Medvedev or whoever, his chosen anointed successor, try to make a go of it, and I don't think that'll work either. The days of the Putin regime controlling Russia are numbered. But the danger is that you're going to have oligarchs rise up. And it was Oracle Computers. That was the company that actually had this optical computer analysis that was running on the socioeconomic situation in Russia. But Putin himself is not going to be there much longer. He can't. You're right, he's 70 years old, but apart from that, he's going to be offered a deal, like step down quietly, or else. You know, and that's going to be the end of that.
You figure at some point in time, the Russian people are going to get tired of the crap.
They already are. They found out
every country.
They found out how rich Putin is recently, and that did not go over well. That went over like a lead frickin' balloon in Moscow. I can tell you right now. He's not as popular as he was originally. They thought he was the savior of Russia at first, and well, he did a few things, granted, but he didn't save Russia. He made it more of a confrontational kind of entity in the world and a rabble rouser than he did any kind of service. He was horrible to the Ukraine. I mean, those people are Slavic. They're all supposed to be on the same side, right? They're all from the same traditions and have similar cultural backgrounds.
Yeah.
So
speak the same language, all that happy stuff.
Well, it's not the same language, but it's similar, you know. And you have to understand the Russians. They're very cynical. A lot of people. They stand a pretty good chance of getting a rational democracy out of this if they play their cards right a second time. I mean, there is hope. And if Russia...
The younger generations are the ones that will start driving society. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, well, that's true. And they're going to demand more openness, more democracy, a critical press, etc., etc., etc.
Well, look in the United States. The liberal mindset is driven by younger generations wanting to have more control, be more involved, know what's going on so they can make informed decisions.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen all across the whole planet, not just maybe the United States and Canada. I mean, yeah, it kind of starts here because we have a few more freedoms and expectations. But
yes, we do, and a lot of people take them for granted. Unfortunately, we did have an increase, a huge uptick in our voter turnout last election, but it's not where I'd like to see it. There's still talk of trying to legislate people to the polls, and, you know, in other words, give fines out for people who don't show up or report to the polls on election day. I'm not really in favor of that. I think it should be voluntary, but I would still like to see it go above 80%. I mean, you should at least be able to get 80% of the populace out in a general election, I think. In the United States...
I know that one of the big drives around here hasn't so much been to threaten punishment if you don't participate. It's, okay, we understand maybe you're busy the day that we have elections. Well, for 2 weeks ahead of time, you can come in and vote early, or even vote by proxy. I mean,
yeah.
That's not such a bad idea.
No, you can vote.
Understanding that people are busy and have other obligations. They want to participate, but they can't on that day for some reason. It's not such a bad deal. Let them vote a couple days early or something.
It's not computerized here yet. We're still relying on the paper ballots because we've been watching the United States closely as it's tried to adopt and integrate technology into the voting process. But we're not eager to become the great experimenters with that particular, not with the government. So
you know computers well enough that no matter how well you try to safeguard the computer system, somebody out there's going to figure out how to take advantage of it and fuck things up.
It all boils down to one thing. How do you prove someone is who they say they are when they're online?
Yeah.
Right? If you can prove that, then you have a pretty easy way of determining whether or not it's a valid vote. But if you don't, and we don't, it's very fucking difficult. When you get to the ballot, the computers can count the paper. That was integrated into our provincial election here in Ontario recently, this past year. That seemed to go off okay, partly because of the American experience. There's no dangling dimpled chads or any of that other nonsense. We just had, black marks. Computer reads the black marks. That's it. Done. There.
That's pretty simple, hard to mess with.
It's hard to mess with that, right? So, I mean, as long as it's kept simple, and, as long as the computer is just doing something mundane, like counting the ballots at the polling place, and every polling place is isolated, you've got a fairly reasonable chance of having a free and fair election. And for the most part, even with the errors and whatnot, the Canadian observers in the United States that watch your elections have reported free and fair elections. We don't have any complaints with the American electoral process specifically. Our main complaint is with the Electoral College, but you know about that already.
Yeah.
So, it's nothing new.
The only way they could honestly be able to verify a person's identity is you got to get into biometric scanning of one form or another, which means at the point of birth,
they're taking a genetic sample or something.
Yeah, you get genetic samples and everything.
Yeah, a genetic sample is the only way to identify you uniquely as you. I don't think there's another way. Retinal scans are close. Fingerprints. Fingerprints aren't bad.
Retinal scans and fingerprints are pretty tough to.
They're tough, but it can be done. Now the thing is, when you're talking about massive. What we're talking about here, though, is a concern about massive voter fraud, not like a vote or two off, right? So if it's massive voter fraud that we're trying to concentrate our efforts on, then you know what? Fingerprints and retinal scans aren't bad. They're pretty much. I mean, if you find any two retinal scans as being identical, there's something fishy going on, especially when there's 500 of them. The
only time that biometric scans, genetic scans, are faulty is when it comes to, say, a set of twins or triplets or something like that.
Even there are
have identical genetic markers. You cannot tell them apart with 100% certainty.
Not with 100%.
If they leave fingerprints are unique to an individual.
But there have to be even in identical twins, though, you have to understand this. Even in identical twins, their personalities can be very different from one another.
I have a set of brothers that are twins, so trust me, I know.
Okay.
My best friends are twins since I was 10 years old.
So their genetic profile must be different at some level. In order for that.
Nope.
No?
DNA scans are identical amongst identical twins.
How can that be? The neurology is different in both people.
The neurology will change, but biologically, DNA they are identical.
thought
You cannot,
DNA controls neurology to some extent.
At that point in time, you have to rely on fingerprints and retinal scans to be able to distinguish between the two of them. Unless you have both of them side by side. My brothers, you look at them, if they're side by side, they're different. You can tell. You can see it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see that they are identical twins, but there are noticeable differences. But say, like, in the instance of a crime or something like that, where you don't have them side by side, and you don't know them well enough, like I do, since they're my brothers, like, if you were to see one of my brothers, you wouldn't know which one's which, just even seeing them. You'd have to rely on something other than the DNA, because their DNA is identical. That's why they're identical twins.
Yeah, no, I understood the physical properties, which are the predominantly, I mean, the largest sections of the DNA double helix deal with, setting up tissue, in various places, and how organ growth is going to happen and when, etc., etc. But as time goes on and twins diverge in terms of personality, my understanding was that because the neurology is different, that the genetic code, we had to anticipate that there'd be some difference in 2 or 3 markers of the genetic code somewhere.
Unless you're looking at brain scans would be different. But as far
what kind of brain scan?
Well, I really don't know. I do know that if you were to do a DNA test on the two of them, they're identical. You cannot figure out which is which, unless one has some kind of a genetic mutation. And the likelihood of one having and the other is slim to none. I mean,
it would depend.
It
depends whether it happens in the pregnancy, right? Because it's a process of mitosis or something that occurs during the pregnancy. It splits the egg into 2 equal parts, where you get 2 fetuses growing at the same time, and then you end up with identical twins.
That is why you cannot physically figure out with identical twins. You cannot look at DNA to tell the difference. That's why you need the retinal scans and the fingerprints. It's the way it is.
Yeah, but those have to be. The problem with that is, of course, is that the retinal scans and the fingerprints have to be updated, right? Every so often.
No, not necessarily. Once your fingerprints have been taken, as a young child, the computers can they can go through with mathematical equations and blah blah all that happy shit, and they can give you a pretty good guess as to how much they've changed over time.
Of course, even if they did have to be updated,
fingerprints,
we could just update them once every 10 years or something. I mean, it doesn't have to be that often.
It doesn't even have to be that often. Once they stop physically growing and changing, it's not going to change. As a young child, say a 2-year-old, you take their fingerprints, and then you take it at 5 years old. The thing you'll notice the most is the gaps and some of the spacing between the markers and the fingerprints will become farther apart as they grow, but the general patterns left will stay the same.
Well, they are increasing the resolution of the biometric technology, but right now we're still using cards and things to identify people, and as long as that still goes on, I mean, it's just going to be complete. You just won't be able to vote via the internet, but even if you do, you have to worry about massive voter fraud, and the internet is not the ideal vehicle for handling a government election for obvious reasons.
No, and we don't, even in the United States here, we don't vote through the internet. We have to physically go to the location and cast our vote.
And cast your vote, so it's recorded, yeah.
So, I mean, we physically have to go there and do it. You'll never get past that point anytime in the near future.
No, you'd need a second or a third layer network, like the Alternet was supposed to be the alternate internet kind of thing. There's Internet 2 for research organizations. It's still up and around somewhere, floating about. These are networks that are divorced completely from the internet, but they still go over massive amounts of geography. So, you know, Cambridge and MIT can collaborate on a project together without worrying about bandwidth issues with the internet proper. The military in the United States has its own, you know, network infrastructure to a large degree, certainly in specific geographic regions. I don't want to get into the communications infrastructure too much because I'm aware of it as part of my job responsibilities, but I should probably temper that just by saying that there are some similarities, and you don't want to give those things away. At least I don't think so. Can't imagine that. Well, I'll leave it at that. I shouldn't say anything.
Yeah, you should probably just stop now.
Yeah.
There comes a point in time when you're just better off not talking about it.
Yeah, well, as a friend of mine likes to say, just shut the hell up. Can't go wrong with that.
That might be a good idea.
You can never go wrong just keeping your big mouth shut. Oh, well.
Oh, I need to go to this place, huh?
What am I going to do?
BD plus 30, 623.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll take some more passengers. I mean criminals. I'm running a prison ship now here. I just feel like wrong about going to the system and like exploiting the hell out of it.
There's a civil war going on here again, so it's pretty tough to get good missions, so I'm trying out the other one where you take them to the one place and then go to the little blue place. And so
you're going out to Little Blue? That's interesting. I haven't been out there yet.
I'm heading there now.
I was going to do one of those. Actually, maybe I will take a mission. I'll go out there. You want to hang out?
I figure at this point, well, I can't scan anything because I don't have scanners set up on the ship. But I'm going to go there, I'm figuring I'm going to pull 50 million on this run, but it's a little longer to pull, or a little longer to do it because it's going to take 1, 2, 3, about 5 or 6 jumps there and back, round trip.
Well, actually, you know what? Right now, I'm having trouble finding Little Blue missions.
Oh, I've spent the last half hour looking for them, but that's because I can't find enough missions to where I normally go because there's fucking civil war going on, so I can screw it. Of course, we're sitting here talking, so that passes time.
Was it BAA that had the civil war? Probably was, I would think.
There's a couple of factions there in Darwin Research Base that...
Oh, they're starting to raise...
There's a civil war there amongst those factions. Now, there's a civil war, they don't give out shit for missions.
Yeah, well, here's the Alliance outpost in the California Nebula. Another criminal mastermind.
I did stop there, but I got to go to Little Blue with a few of them, and I went to the Mick Turner, blah, blah, whatever the hell it was, and Little Blue, so I'm pulling 5 million per mission.
Yeah, see, I'm only getting 1 point... Actually, hang on here. I'm only getting 1.5 maximum on these missions. Like, they're not really that good. Oh, here we go. I found one.
Ah, son of a bitch.
I found one for Little Blue. I'll go out there first.
I have a problem. I forgot all about having fuel issues.
Do you need me to bring a fuel limpet?
Yeah, might be.
Okay, well, hang on a second.
Think about that I need a fuel scoop or something.
I have to sacrifice one of my other systems to do that. Just give me a second here.
I'm going to go use the restroom, so I'll be back here in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Oh, shit, that's...
go down here. Okay.
Frameshift drive charging.
There we go to the quarry. Then we're off the little place.
You are all clear. Starcom wishes you a good journey.
That's nice.
Incoming mission critical message, huh?
Okay, well, I
Oh,
just...
you want me to locate goods? That ain't gonna happen.
I just arrived. Hang on a second here. I'm gonna try docking to this place.
You are approaching an independent
Where are you at?
The quarry, but I've got illegal passengers with me, so I have to not be scanned. And I'm going to do silent running as I approach Bay 1, which is my designated landing port. Okay, we're moving into position. Landing gear is deployed successfully.
Temperature critical.
We have deployed a heat sink. Stand by.
This sucks.
Heat sink deployed.
No scans yet. I don't think there will be any. Not while I'm cloaked like this.
I could head back to California sector, blah, blah, blah. Right, the McTurner base.
What good would that do you?
I could is there a large enough dock there to dock?
Oh yeah, you can dock at the...
I could dock and put fuel in.
Well, that's what I would do. It'll take less time than what I've got planned.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because all I'm doing here is I'm going to have to order one of my fuel limpets. I should still have a fuel limpet in the area just in case you end up being stranded or another wing ends up being stranded. But normally I carry them with me, but I've been shipping so much other crap in the bubble lately that...
Normally I don't worry about it because I don't pull missions like this where I'm jumping 200 light years away from start point, dumb shit.
Yeah, just 1 second, I gotta do something with my headset here. It's fucking everything up and it's pissing me off. One moment. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, good, because that fucking earphone is like dangling off the end of my...
So this McTurner base, any chance they're going to have a fuel scoop there I can swap with my FSD booster?
No, they won't have... I doubt very much they'll have that there.
Shit.
You still need help?
No, all I gotta do is get to the McTurner base now. I'm actually in the system, so...
Oh, okay. Well, you should be fine. So you still have to go to Little Blue though, right?
Yes, I still have to go to Little Blue.
Okay, just give me a second here.
Yeah, I'm so fucking distracted right now trying to figure out all the other shit in real life. How to pay bills, how to deal with the kids and their issues. Hunting season officially starts tomorrow, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to go about this hunting season, because I want to try hunting other areas, but I got to go figure out who owns land and get permission.
Go to the county registrar. I think will probably have your land.
I already have a plat book, so it's just a matter of me getting onto Google Maps, finding that plat of land, and then reference the plat book to figure out who owns it, then figure out where they live, go talk to them. I've already done it many times, so I know how to do it. It's just kind of one of the things I've been putting it off, trying to deal with other shit.
Yeah. Okay, hang on here.
That and I have a handful of places I can hunt already. But I'm going to drag both my kids out hunting tomorrow. So that's kind of a logistical
nightmare.
Cesspool, trying to figure out how am I going to do this.
Okay, we're going to go and get...
illegal pester shit.
We're going to take this one. Here's the Recon Limpet. We'll transfer it to this station instead. We got a docking computer in the vicinity. We'll take that and put that here. And we've got... No, we'll leave that one there.
Actually, I should have a fuel scoop nearby. Probably have a shipped here.
Do I have a fuel limpet? Alma guest. No. I have a fuel tank, but that doesn't help you. You can't share equipment.
No. I understand why they don't let you share equipment, because I've got all kinds of money. I could buy all kinds of crap and just give it to you free, which defeats the purpose of you playing the game and learning the game and all that.
Yeah.
It used to be kind of... A decade ago, the way online games are played is players helping players. Well, nowadays, it's players have been around forever, take advantage of the newbies and give them free shit in return for favors. It's kind of...
Yeah, it's not really playing the game.
Yeah,
You know what? I have fuel tanks, fuel scoops. I don't think I have a fuel limpet. I'd have to go buy one from one of the other systems. Yeah, there's a fuel scoop.
I know I own no fuel limpets.
But you
I figure if we ever get to the point that we decide to do some kind of a wing exploration thing where we go out into the deep space, I might just load up my cutter with fuel tanks and scanners and fuel limpets.
Yeah.
And I'll be the fucking fuel mothership if need be. 1,500 credits to fill my fuel tank.
Power plant.
They do
Research
have outfitting here. Let's see what they've got.
Wait a sec. Yeah, research limpet. I've got multiple research limpets. I don't know why. The 5B fuel scoop. We'll take that one from here.
Research limpet. What is a research limpet?
Well, let's see. It's research limpet controls a limpet that scrapes samples of biomatter from surfaces of alien vessels.
That must be a new one.
No, that one has been there forever.
Probably one that I've just skipped over then, figuring it's nothing I need anytime soon.
No, you don't need it anytime soon. It's not necessary. So I'm taking all my useless, low-grade equipment.
Put a fighter hangar in here. Class 1 fuel scoop. Well, that's useful.
Fuel. And I've got the interdictor. Okay, so now we have... Hang on. Fuel scoop.
Wait, alloys. I don't even know what that's for.
I have an interdictor. It'll be 3 hours before the interdictor gets here, but that's the longest one. I have some military-grade composite armor I can retrofit. But I can't really do much other than add a fuel scoop here. to get out to blue.
Ouch.
So that's what I'm going to
I should
do.
have a fuel scoop. Where the fuck is my fuel scoop?
Oh, the other thing is I need a fuel tank, don't I? I guess no, not really. Okay, let's do that. Let's go back.
X-Con missiles, like I need them.
Let's take our internal, we have a first class passenger. All my passenger cabins are taken up. I've got a 64 limpet cargo rack. It will not let me replace that because I also have a 8 port cargo rack I can get rid of at will.
Okay, 6A fuel scoop, 14 minutes. Guess let's get transferred here. So I sit here for 14 minutes.
I can put a fuel scoop there. So that's what we have to do. We have to rely on a class 4A fuel scoop, unfortunately.
I got the 6A on its way.
Yeah, I have the 6A, but I've got passengers and they're occupying my ship.
My class 7 module socket currently has a FSD booster.
Oh, that's nice.
So I'm gonna pull the FSD booster out, put the fuel scoop in, and then I should be fine. Most of my trips are gonna be 45.3 light years, which I can jump that like 45.7 or some shit. So I can barely jump that without the booster. Just to run from Darwin to California sector, whatever the fuck it is.
Storage modules, 6A fuel scoop, please.
I have a feeling what I will end up doing is I'm going to leave this Anaconda sitting out here once I get it tweaked to be making multiple runs and money-making plans out here. Leave it sit here with all the modules it needs. Then I'm going to take my Ask Explorer and fly back into the bubble and check out some of the other spots that I've found on forums and whatnot and just see if they're worth my time or not.
Yeah. Optional internal, core internals. Utility mounts and hard points. Okay, we're ready. Okay, I'm heading towards where you are. I have to plot a course to the blue sector.
I'm at Mike Turner Base at the moment.
I'm not going there. Well, actually, yes, I am going there. But then I have to leave in a big hurry because I'll be caught.
Are you going to scan their mushroom fields or whatever?
No, I'm going to scan their Alliance beacon. The outpost beacon. And then we'll go to blue.
I found a tennis ball down underneath my desk.
We now have a new tennis ball.
No, it's an old one. My one dog, tennis balls are his favorite thing.
I see.
He's a lab. He's a retriever. Yeah. Fetch is his favorite game. The problem is, he's so old he can fetch a ball once, and then he's got to go take a nap.
Oh.
Feel bad for the dog, but hey, I've had him for 11 years, so I can't complain. I mean, he's done a good pooch, except for when he gets in garbage or runs to the neighbor's house to play their dogs. Otherwise, he's been a good dog. At this point in time, he just kind of does what he wants, hangs out in the house all day.
Launching, we're 2 jumps away from your location and leaving the quarry. This quarry system is full of minerals, eh?
What?
Yeah, they get the prisoners to dig out the minerals. That's obviously what this ship is here for.
You know, you're still like, what, 2 or 3 light years short of being able to jump from there to here.
I know, it's because I have a 7D power plant and 7A prismatic shield, and the 2 equal less jump space than what I would like to have. If I had my power module properly upgraded, which takes a component that I don't have, then it would be fine. Jumping.
Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging.
FSD charge. Ironically, the prison ship did not scan me for prisoners or criminals visiting the prison.
Speed restrictions lifted. Hope we don't see you back here, Commander.
Okay, 21.3 light years. Jumping now into the California sector, B Alpha, Alpha Echo 6.
Some of these paint jobs for this ship are fucking ugly.
Okay, so now we have the Alliance targets. Nick Turner base.
So have you seen that they have some new paint jobs for some of the ships?
Yes. I realized that. Oh, hang on.
Okay. What? I guess I'm curious. What do you think of those?
I'm not the biggest fan of paint jobs to start with, but whatever. I didn't really look at the Crusader ones. I was looking at the Anaconda ones. Okay.
I've yet to see anything I like the look of for the Anaconda.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I'm not gonna say I'm
the Anaconda,
fan.
yeah. The Anaconda is a good ship. I mean, it serves a multi-purpose role.
Yeah.
Exactly what it's intended to do.
Yeah.
It's fucking ugly though.
Yeah. Well, we can't all be running Imperial cutters that look like luxury liners.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm flying an Anaconda right now.
Yeah.
I like
when
the
they
ship
introduce
for what it is.
When they bring the Panther, if they're going to bring the Panther into the game, when they bring it in, it's going to look butt ugly. I mean, it'll be like a flying box.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, it will have a very, very fat belly and will not look pretty.
I guess that's what irritates me is I kind of like fixing up my ships with it. They're kind of pleasant looking, but I can't find anything to make this Anaconda look better than stock. I mean, I could give it stupid looking paint jobs that look like wannabe camo of different colors, urban camo colors. They're just, yeah. I don't know. I like the ship. I can make a lot of money with it, which I need lots, obviously. But I can't seem to figure out how to make it look nice. It's still butt ugly no matter what I do.
Okay, so I'm wanted in this system. Where are we? Oh, we're going to go to blue next, right? So, hang on. Galaxy map.
I'm almost wondering if I should get one of these pulse paint jobs. At least then it kind of make it look a little different, but I don't know.
Oh, sure. What the hell? Okay, I'm laying in a course of blue now. Course calculating. Man, does it ever take its sweet time calculating a course out here. Get
Yeah,
with
it takes longer.
It sure does. I wonder if it does that at Colonia. Probably does.
One jump, and it takes forever.
Okay, I'm going to jump 35.8 light years to California Sector Kilo Hotel Victor Charlie 2-1. And executing jump profile now. And I'm also going to wing up with you right now.
Carry this with paint jobs.
You're unreachable for some reason.
I've been board hopping, so I'm probably in a different game mode.
You're going to have to join open play if you want to wing up.
Well, that's the problem. I've been jumping from games. I have a tendency to board hop a lot more out here than I do normally in the bubble. Just
Why?
because, like,
make more sense in the bubble.
In order to get the missions I want, those 2 million plus missions, I need 9 of them to fill in order to take off from the station. I won't take the 700,000 credit mission. There's no point to it. I'll wait another 15 minutes for it to renew.
Okay, so just answer this. Are you coming with me, or are you going by yourself?
Where are we going?
Blue.
Well, I'm kind of waiting for parts to show up, so...
Oh, okay.
So I guess if you want to come here and just orbit the planet until I'm ready to take off, sure.
No, because I'll be shot.
I'll change.
I'll be shot, and I don't want to be shot. So...
That's what I'm saying, orbit the planet. You'll be fine there.
No, I'm not orbiting the damn planet.
Well,
that's a stupid idea.
I'm jumping into open play. I'm almost tempted to get one of the iridescent paint jobs for my Eagle, my Imperial Eagle. It's one of the few ships that is popular in this game that has no modifications for it whatsoever. It just makes you wonder, what the fuck? Why does FDev not like that ship? The Eagle MK2 has probably got the most mods you can put on any ship in the game.
You know what? That Imperial Eagle is fine the way it is. I've been defeated by one of them, and they move extremely fast. They get the job done, and they're gone before you.
But it's body kits and paint jobs I want to put on them. I don't know why. I like making them look a little different.
Yeah. Entering NGC 1514 Sector Charlie Lima Yankee Delta 3. 36.6 light years executing jump.
Turner Research Group. See, we have nothing available.
3, 2, 1, jump.
Yeah, I am now in open place. If you want to try sending me an invite, I can accept now.
Oh,
I'm jumping, no outfitting, see if my shit showed up yet. Yeah, I got a minute to wait before I can equip shit and take off.
Okay.
In the meantime, I'm going to look at iridescent paint jobs. Imperial Clipper. Yeah, it's kind of a... I don't know. Have you ever... what the hell is that show? Andromeda. Have you ever seen that show?
Yeah, Andromeda Ascendant.
Yeah, I like the look of that ship. That's a cool looking ship.
I always thought it looked like... It always looked kind of athletic, but I couldn't ever figure out what the hell it was for. Was it like bikes, handlebars for a bicycle, or like what?
I like the look of that ship, and then if you jump into Star Trek, I like the look of some of the Klingon ships and some of the Romulan ships.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. I didn't like the new Didaridex warbirds that were featured in what the hell was the last one?
Discovery or
Nemesis. Didn't really
I
like.
don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I didn't like those. But the Derridex class warbirds were very, the first version was very impressive looking.
If you look at Babylon 5, that show, now I'm being brain dead. But those ships that, what is that other race that seems to be connected with the humans? In that
The Centauri.
Not the Centauri, the ones that the humans were at war with and damn near...
Oh, the Minbari.
The Minbari, and they had a ship that kind of showed up.
The White Star.
The White Stars, they kind of look pretty cool. I like the look of those.
You know what the one I like was? Favorite ship of all time? Second, of course, after the Sovereign class Enterprise. Would be number 2 ship would be the Stargate universe, the Destiny class ancient ship. Ugliest ship of all time in science fiction shows was the Aurora class in Stargate SG-1. No, sorry, Stargate Atlantis.
If you go to Star Wars, I've always liked the X-Wing fighters. They're just kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
I've actually got a couple Legos is something I've always liked since I was like old enough to play with the damn thing. I've got a couple different Lego X-Wing fighters. I've got a Millennium Falcon and a bunch of other Star Wars ships that are kind of cool looking. Sitting in a China hutch in my living room across the room.
I had the hugest Lego creation. My parents got, at some point my parents got rid of all my toys. They donated them to charity or something. Anyway, they don't exist anymore, but we had the Death Star. We had like the coolest stuff. And the reason my father took away
I would have taken that thing with me wherever the hell I went.
Well,
I would not have left that when I moved away from home.
Father did not like the fact that my brother and I often fought over the Death Star. So eventually he just took it away. And
I've got...
To this day, I haven't forgiven him. He doesn't know that, but I'm never going to forgive him for that.
My kids got to the point I got tired of trying to fix and rebuild shit. There was a point in time where I built an entire fleet of fire trucks, fire engines, and police cars for them. Well, they'd play with them, they'd wreck them, and then I'd rebuild them. It eventually got to the point that me trying to build something out of Legos, I had to fight for pieces with my kids. So I was like, okay, you know what? You guys take them, you go play with them. In a couple of years, you'll get bored with them, then I can play with them again. I guess I like to build shit. I like the challenge of trying to build something out of Legos because you got predefined pieces. You got to try and build something cool looking out of it.
Yeah. You ever hear of an assembly set called Mechanos?
I haven't heard of that one.
Those come from the 1940s, believe it or not. They were really popular after the Second World War. Children's toys, the same idea as Legos. You would assemble them, but they weren't made of plastic. They were made of metal. And
I can see why they weren't popular.
Well, no, they were popular, actually.
Well, I'm saying now, today, why they're not.
Yeah.
Why I've never heard of them. I can see why.
Yeah, well, obviously metal, kind of sharp and whatever, but...
Well, just heavy and dense. You throw a handful of those at somebody, you could hurt them.
You could,
throw a handful of Legos at them, you're going to piss them off.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I mean, my grandfather and father both played with them when they were younger, and my grandfather probably played with them a little bit longer. He eventually became a carpenter and created a grandfather clock that I'm about to inherit. Now that I have my money, I can start buying some of this shit that belongs to me back.
Yeah. There's a group of people in Europe. They're kind of, I've found them on the internet over the years.
Yeah.
They've gone out of their way to, I mean, they're Lego fanatics. And they've built scale models of different semis and different construction vehicles. And they obviously look a lot different from what we have here in the United States.
Yeah.
They got more of the stub-nose cab over look compared to what we have for our normal semi-trucks. So, I mean, it's kind of different. It's kind of cool. And some of them guys, I mean, they've put a lot of time and energy into figuring out how to build a functional, scaled model that's completely remote controlled. I mean, shit, probably once my kids are off on their own, their Lego room's going to become my hideaway because I'm going to sit up there for hours on end building shit out of Lego.
Yeah.
I personally, I realize it might be kind of juvenile or immature, but there's just something about playing with them that I enjoy.
Well, you might enjoy carpentry too. Actually, being able to assemble a grandfather clock sure as hell impresses people.
I don't like carpentry. I've kind of gone that route. There's a lot of things I'd like to build. I mean, it'd be kind of nice to have, but it's like I don't want to build it. Carpentry in general is too close to what I do for a living now, what I get paid to do, that I don't want nothing to do with. I mean, as a machinist, I get paid to build things from scratch, take raw components and build things. No, I don't want to do that for a hobby.
Yeah.
That's why I like archery. If I really want to, I can custom build components and parts for my bows, but I don't have to. I can just buy the pieces and assemble them and go plink away for hours on end.
Hang on a second, I'm actually at Little Blue right now. I'm doing a scan.
Well, you're ahead of me. I haven't even left the base yet. I'm actually tabbed out of game at the moment looking at iridescent ships. Python, yeah, I've already got some kind of cool looking shit for the Python. I don't need to buy more crap for that. I need to rebuy my Python, rebuild it. I sold it so I could build my cutter.
What the hell is this star? Like, I really want to know. This star, it makes no sense.
The Vulture.
It is
the Vulture has got big weapons on it and very agile, but I can't stand that ship. This seems to be very popular.
This star does not have an analysis. It's got a star catalog, security anarchy, allegiance none, population 0, but it doesn't tell. Oh, there it is. A class B star, very luminous blue-white star, usually in mass from 2 to 16 solar masses, and have a surface temperature reaching 30,000 Kelvin. Their lifetimes are shorter than most main sequence stars. This one is only 2 million years old. It is 3.5 solar masses, 2.1 solar radii. And it is really large. Don't know how else to put this. It's a giant star. You've been out here though, right? You've seen this?
Where's that?
Little Blue?
Not yet. That's where I'm trying to go to, but I need to re-outfit my ship to make that run a little easier.
Yeah, this thing is...
I'm looking at the iridescent paint jobs for different ships.
You should need to see the iridescent paint job they put on this star. It's like fucked up.
Oh, I'll show up out there soon enough. The crate, I'm wondering, do I need to put a nice paint job on that yet? I really haven't. I like the crate, but I'm not making money with it, so it just kind of sits in dry dock doing nothing.
Well, you need to upgrade it, and it has to be combat ready, and a bunch of other things.
Oh, both my crates are combat ready. Yeah. Trust me.
Well, mine is somewhat combat ready, but I don't have the money you do. So I mean, I'm not at my base, you know, laying out freaking weapons.
That's the one thing that's funny here. I don't know. When you and I met in this game, I was so far ahead of you in certain aspects of the game, in the trade.
Yeah.
But you were farther ahead in the combat. I'm the one who can afford the combat ships, but I just don't do the combat play style.
No, but I'm higher ranked than you. I'm still higher
how many
ranked.
ships set up for combat?
I'm higher ranked than you are in combat. It's the only area where I'm.
Yeah.
Where I've
But
spent more
I'm
time.
just saying it's kind of amusing.
Yeah.
You're higher ranked in combat compared to me. I've got the combat ships, I just don't use them.
Yeah. Where I don't mind a bit of combat. So blow shit up.
I do, but if I'm in the mood to make money, it's like if combat is counterproductive to making money.
Yeah, well, of course, anything else other than making money is technically counterproductive because you're not spending time earning money. So it costs you money that you could otherwise be earning. And so
One of these days, I might just have to buy an Imperial Clipper. They're not bad looking. The Imperial Courier is fucking ugly, though.
yeah, and the Courier is
like
useless. The Clipper is actually a worthy combat vessel. It's got the speed, it's got the agility, it can take modules that, you know...
The Clipper is a cross between the Imperial Eagle and the Imperial Cutter. It's kind of a in-between ship.
Yeah, it does that really well. Actually, there's a demo of... You know the music that was playing for Elite 2 Frontier? You can see it on Wikipedia. Or the Elite wiki site. Hang on a second. There. Scanning Little Blue, and what is Little Blue? It's a
Now that I have my module,
it's a
let's see what I
satellite.
can do.
Commander Tidate considers this their favorite little one-system nebula. Who cares? What a bunch of useless bullshit. Commander Tidate is like all...
I'll be able to do a 45.96 light year jump, or 45.89 with a fuel scoop.
Alright.
I'm pretty sure this Anaconda is going to stay out here. Prometheus is going to be stuck in the California sector forever. Because once I get this ship outfitted, it's basically set up for flying out here to make money.
Yeah, well, I'm taking my system.
I'll go buy a new Anaconda.
Well, I guess I could do that too, but it would just take another 200 million credits, and quite frankly, I've got other things I want to spend my next 200 million credits on.
I'm approaching 3 billion credits in inventory assets, so yeah, I don't care. I'll buy more ships, I'll buy more Anacondas, maybe I'll buy a few more crates. I got plenty of Eagles. I like Eagles, I don't know why, I just do.
And
I like to be able to sit and play around and do loop-de-loops, so if I'll be somewhere on board one day, I'll buy an Eagle out and max it out just so I can go do loop-de-loops around the station for no reason.
I would like a mega
It's
ship.
kind of fun. If I had a mega ship, I'd have all kinds of fun. But I don't know how ambitious I am into getting to the whole being in some large organized group of players and a role of responsibility trying to manage and navigate shit now. I got my real life obligations kind of interfere with my gaming. As long as I got a few people I can bullshit with and hang out with now and then while I piss time down my leg, I'm good to go. As far as Defiance goes, I've gotten to the point I haven't logged in that game in how long, and I'm second in command of that clan. So yeah.
You can be second in command to this one too if you want. I'm the one.
Well, I figure you'll be the leader of it, and when everybody is pissed off at you, they'll come talk to me, and I'll tell them, hey, I'll talk to them. I'll make it all better.
Yeah. Yeah, in general, I don't piss everyone off. I don't take shit from people. that I perceive as shit. So if
You
someone's nasty
and
enough
I
to me,
have
I'll just stop talking to them. They'll disappear.
you and I have different personalities, and I'm sure in real life compared to online, we're quite a bit different, but that's probably why we get along.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
I've got the attitude of, fuck it, I'm here to kill time anyway, so let's see what Trium's doing to piss everyone else off today.
I don't think I piss people off in general, but
No.
it's usually the other way around, I find.
Hey,
I'm
it's one of those things.
I'm not taking my ball and going home either. I just don't feel like I'm here to have fun, and if I'm not having fun, it's wasting my time. And I just don't have time for people to waste my time. It's too precious.
I get paid for my time one way or the other, so yeah, that's fine.
Like when Hardin started making criticisms about my profession, I was just like, okay, well, I don't really need that from some fucking script kiddie who considers himself a developer. I'll just
Hardin, I haven't figured him out yet. I haven't been able to group up with him long enough.
Well, he doesn't have enough. He doesn't have nearly enough experience as a software developer to be critiquing me at all. He doesn't know anything about my career, what I do for a living.
The problem with that guy is he's usually half fucking drunk or more whenever he's playing this game. So I mean, he is kind of amusing. I find him quite entertaining.
I didn't realize he was drunk, but that doesn't help his situation. He's still responsible for his behavior.
Hey, I'm drunk half the time I play this game.
Yeah,
you know that.
You also don't take anywhere near the same attitude.
No. Well, you figure you get enough people with similar careers, they're gonna argue and everything else.
He doesn't have a career. He's a young guy. He's been doing this less than 5 years, and he's trying to talk down to someone who's got like 17, 18 years solid development experience.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. How would you like it if someone who came along fresh out of freaking community college started like telling you don't know anything about machine work?
I've had that happen. I look at him like, okay, in the next couple of weeks to a month, you're going to come across the problem. You're going to come asking me, and I'm going to say, well, figure it out. I'm going to turn around and laugh while I walk away. I've been there. I've done that. A machinist has the general attitude of, I know what I can do.
Yeah.
And the good ones become more tool makers and higher level technicians or whatever fancy word you want to give them, that realize there's more than one way to do this.
Yeah. Well, amongst developers,
that works for you to do it and you still pull a profit, it don't matter.
Amongst developers, if you're given a title, you don't let it go to your head. Number one, because titles are meaningless, and it's what you know. Yeah, it's what you know and what you can do. I mean, it's not what you've been told you've achieved. It's what really have you done? You know, if I'm in a job interview situation with someone, if I'm interviewing someone, I want to know, okay, what have you actually accomplished so far in your career? And there is a criticism of sorts going on at that level, but it's not like running people down. It's trying to understand where their competencies and strengths are. I certainly don't. I have seen people, believe me, I've worked with software developers that could not develop a line of code without me helping them, literally, and been able to work with them. And I consider that an asset to me, because I was able to make them productive on my team. I did not run them down. I could have gone to their face. You don't know shit from clay. What are you doing here? But that would have been, counterproductive. It would have meant, now I've got to go look for someone else, and
Sometimes it's more productive and easier to take someone you work with who isn't up to the same caliber as you are, and slowly work with them and get them to the point that they're kind of on the same level as you. I've been doing that with a coworker for the year that I've been there now.
Of course.
And my boss, he used to actually work at the same place I worked at, my previous employer.
Yeah.
So he knows exactly where I came from, the struggles I had there.
Yeah.
Well, I was there for 12 years compared to him being there for like 3 or 4. I think it was 3 or 4. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
He wasn't there nearly as long as I was. He knows my capabilities, and he knows pretty much he knows where I came from. And it was when they hired me, his viewpoint was, well, this will either be really, really good or really, really bad. If he inherited the bad temperament and the piss poor attitude that most people coming out of this place got, it ain't gonna work well. If he learned how to fucking do the job and think for himself, then it'll work out well.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, with my boss, it worked out
these
pretty
guys
good.
could not code in C# for the life of them, and there were 2 of them. I didn't have 1, I had 2. And by God, you know, I had them inside of 2 weeks. I had them being productive in Visual Studio and contributing code and writing web services and doing all the other really tough shit. The only thing, and the government developers, by contrast, these were people that were stationed, they were hired into the federal government, they had union supports, they had all this other stuff that the contractors didn't have, and they were very very reluctant to adopt new ideas, and yet they were more skilled developers in some respects, but they were less productive to me because these 2 developers that wanted to do the work and wanted to learn, you know, it had the brain power ultimately, and they could demonstrate it. They learned it very quickly.
In other words, they had the raw skill,
Yeah.
the raw skill set. They did not know how to apply it.
Right. Initially, not correctly. That's right. And then they figured it out with my help. Because, I mean, I have no problem helping someone as long as they want to be helped. But running someone down, like, it's just, to me, is just a waste of effort. I mean, even if it ends up being, you can't work with them because they're trying to undermine everything you're doing, and I've had that happen once in the past 20 years I've been a developer, exactly once. You know, it still ends up being you're further ahead to try and make it work than not. So
this one guy I work with, he's 5 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the age difference and the fact that ever since I was about 14, 15 years old, I kind of took all my class work and everything kind of leaned towards the manufacturing industry.
Yeah.
His didn't so much. I mean, he's more artistic in background than I do. I mean, he's a drummer. He still plays drums, just for the fun of it, shit like that.
Yeah.
More musically inclined than I am.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, this kind of gives you an idea. And he's more, he's kind of like you in the aspect that he doesn't really actively study kind of what's going on in culture and shit, but he's more aware of it than I am.
Okay.
I've got the attitude of, fuck it, oh well, it don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of interesting. He never took any shop classes in high school because he didn't have the opportunity to. I mean, he wanted to. He tried to sign up, but there's just too many people already signed up for it. So he ended up taking other skills. I mean, he took like home ec and things like that, which for a guy seems kind of odd that you'd learn how to sew and cook, but really, at the end of the day, I can cook pretty fucking well. I can't sew and save my ass, but
no, but those are good. Those, if you can, those are good life skills. There's a friend of mine. His brother is a surgeon of internal medicine.
Yeah.
And he embroiders all the time because he needs the manual dexterity to properly handle people's organs when he's got He's got his hands in your body trying to fix whatever the hell's wrong with it.
Yeah.
So you want him
I'm
sewing.
not saying there's a problem with it. I'm just saying that this is just the difference of him and I.
Yeah.
Now, at this point in time, I'm 35 years old and he's 30. He's married and has 3 kids. I'm married and have 2 kids.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have a lot in common, but there's enough difference where it makes it interesting, our conversations.
Yeah.
Completely different viewpoints on everything. And he's trying to learn how to effectively become a machinist. I've been doing it for like 15 years or more at this point, and so has my boss has been at it for closer to 30. Well, my boss kind of, between his other jobs, he's the IT guy for the plant, and he's also the fiber optics technician for that department on top of being a machinist. He's generally trying to do 3 jobs at once, literally. Me, I have one job. My job is to sit in shop and fucking bang parts out all day long. And then I'm taking this other guy and I'm slowly teaching him shit. I mean, I find it entertaining because I have to give him enough information that he can start doing it himself.
Yeah.
But I have to stand back and purposely keep my mouth shut, and then instead of helping him out every time he comes across a little problem, I gotta let him sit and figure it out for himself.
Yeah, you can't do the job for them, otherwise they will never learn. So most of my job is you learn hands-on. Yeah.
I mean, I could go over there and it'd take me 30 seconds to have a problem fixed.
Yeah.
But I can sit and watch him struggle for a half hour before he figures it out. It's one of those things where it's more me trying to control myself so that I don't go over there and just push him all the way and do it for him.
Yeah.
I see it this way. It's kind of entertaining to watch how he figures shit out on his own.
This is what attracts people to leadership, is watching how your influence can mentor, can shape the skills of other people.
There's a certain satisfaction in knowing that, okay, I gave him just enough information that he could figure it out for himself.
Yeah.
Yes, he struggled a bit, but you know what? He's better at his job. And this guy has gotten better to the point where I don't have to set up all the machines all by myself anymore. And he's gotten to the point that he's started taking on far more tasks that are generally way over his head. He's started working on them, and he'll sit and figure it out. He'll realize that he's gotten to a point where he needs help. He's learned with me, don't ask me how do I fix this. It's like, okay, this is what I wanted to do. This hasn't worked. What else can I try? So I mean, his thinking process is changing, which is kind of cool to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very entertaining to see how somebody develops.
You have the leadership bug that I do. That's one way we are similar.
I don't want to be in a position of leadership, though.
Well,
I just enjoy sitting there being brain dead and doing my job.
Too late. You're already a leader.
Yeah. My last job, though, the last job I had, I was basically just short of being properly groomed for being put in charge.
Yeah.
And because I don't have the okay, yes sir, or yes ma'am mentality that it takes to be an ass kisser, I think for myself, I got kind of screwed out of position. I got to the point and I'm like, fuck you. I don't have to fucking... Yeah, no.
The boss I have right now, he's really great. He's much younger than me. He's about 10 years younger than me, but he's going for his MBA. And let me tell you, I'm learning a lot from this guy, just from taking a surrogate MBA, hearing his storytelling about what he's planning to do. He's got a mind like, it's not something like, how do I put this? He's not thinking to a level I can't understand or haven't thought of before myself, but he's able to convince people that this is the right way to do it. I have trouble with that. I can't always convince people. I can lead teams of people, but I can't take a vision and necessarily make people believers in that vision very easily. I lack the ability to articulate evidence, to put things in simple enough terms for people to follow. And he's got it, and I think he's going to be an astonishingly powerful leader when he finishes his MBA. MBA is a good secondary degree. A lot of people in the United States go for that now as a second degree, regardless if they have an arts or a sciences background. And you know, like many, I mean, I have an undergrad degree, but I didn't take a professional degree beyond that. I planned to, but then the internet broke out, and it was time to go earn money, so that's what I did. I didn't want to.
Well,
I didn't want to article in a fucking lawyer's office for 20 years, and then pine to make partner for another 5 to 10. You know, I wanted to make my money and be happy now. You know, while I was still young. And so I did. I had a lot of fun.
You figure my education level is at I went to a 2-year vocational school.
Yeah.
So technically that's the end of my education level. Not as high as a 4-year MBA or associates or anything else. But you know what? I make decent money, and at the end of the day, I'm probably smarter than half the people
given
around
that
me.
in the United States especially, and in Canada too, for that matter, there is a shortage of people. We actually now have a deficit of people who do not take machinist or traditional, break fix type jobs like plumbers.
The blue collar jobs. That's the term you're
right,
looking
yeah.
for.
Blue collar, and that's why they can charge a freaking mint now. People are so astonished at why plumbing is so expensive. Well, you know what? There aren't that many plumbers anymore, and they know it.
The sad thing about plumbing, and I've got I guess I'll call him a friend. He is a plumber, and some of the dumbass stories he tells me about, it's like you think, really, don't flush this down your toilet, stupid. It don't work. People do. And then they wonder why. It cost me $800 to fix this? Well, yeah, I had to pull your toilet off and pull the fucking blanket out of a sewer pipe, you dumbass. Now, bear in mind, within certain aspects, I can pull a toilet seat up or pull the toilet completely off, put a new wax ring on, and put it back down and get it sealed. I mean, it's kind of a raw skill to have.
It is, yeah.
But if it got real in depth, I'd have to find a plumber or someone who knows that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, some jobs, it's almost like, really, the concept isn't that hard.
No.
But
But
the
you do have to be.
application becomes, oh my fucking god, really?
You have to be properly
Okay,
equipped. You have to be properly equipped, and there are grades of competency that you have to be able to achieve to advance your career, right? So if you're a plumber, you start off as a journeyman or whatever, and then you work your way up to a master or whatever the hell they call it.
Okay.
There are different titles for things, of course.
Yeah. I have three brothers who are linemen. They have jobs that require them to climb up the electrical poles and fix and repair the electrical grid in a given area.
Yep.
That's their job.
Yep. It's an important one, too.
One of them, the sad thing is, every one of them probably makes twice what I make right now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But, you know what the beauty is? I don't have to go out there when it's 30 fucking degrees below zero in the middle of a blizzard, climb up a pole and freeze my fucking ball sack off.
Yeah.
They get paid good money for that. I don't need to deal with it. So.
Yeah. Well, the winters are getting warmer, so maybe they have to deal with that a little bit less, but they're still going to...
Around here, I'm kind of curious to see this winter if we don't have more snowfall and colder temperatures than normal.
That's what the Farmer's Almanac says, that this year is going to be a nasty one for snowfall, but we'll see.
We've had a little more water. Now, this is a wives' tale that I learned from my grandma. That when you get fog, 90 days later, you're going to get some kind of precipitation. We've had fog a lot lately. 3 months from now is going to put us in December, the beginning of winter.
Yeah.
We could potentially get a lot of fucking snow, which would be great. I mean, I like having, I like snow. I don't like seeing my brown grass in my front yard all winter long. So it should be interesting.
I just noticed something. I'm not moving. Like, it says on my indicator that I'm moving at 280 meters per second, holding steady. Well, right now I'm dropping down to 260 for some reason, but I'm traveling through this fucking soupy nebula towards the star BD 3623, which is little blue. I'm not getting any closer to it. It's going to take over a year for me to get to where I want to go.
I'm just leaving little blue now. I just scanned it.
Hang on a second. Oh, you know what? I got pulled over. I got yanked into the... Hang on. You just scanned it?
I just jumped out of little blue. Jumped away from little blue.
Stay where you are for a second. I want to measure something here.
I am now in California sector NC-B, space C2-0.
Okay, I've got to refuel here because this star has fuel potential and I'm out of fuel. So if I don't refuel now, I'm never going to be able to make the next jump.
Fuel scoop is usually one thing that I usually need, and I think that's going to stay on this ship now. Just in case I can't find any California sector tourist traps to go to, I can always go to Little Blue. I don't need a shield for what I'm doing. Running without a shield actually is kind of entertaining.
Well, they do. Little Blue gives you about 3 million credits when you do it.
Oh shit! I got 6 million, 5 to 6 million credits per passenger bay, and I got 9 of them. So I'm gonna pull probably 45 million. I'm guessing.
Really?
But I'm also half drunk and fucking around and not taking this very seriously.
This fucking star, I swear to God, it's like.
How long do you want me to sit here and wait for you? Are you going to try to catch up to me or what?
Yeah, just give me a second. I'm moving away from the star now. Moving away, 86.
I'm going to get out of the corona of the star. I don't need this fuel scoop anymore, so...
Yeah, okay, so now hang on. I got to figure out where you are. So give me a minute.
BD plus 30... Space 623, and that's where you're at.
I'm just gonna look for the green symbol where you are.
That's kind of nice to have.
And there you are.
I'm gonna go find a restroom. I'll be back in a couple minutes.
Okay. So now we're gonna go over here.
Frameshift drive charging. Have you found me yet?
Yep, we're dropping out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you are, 7 light seconds away. coming around the star to meet you. And we are winged.
I am throttled all the way down as slow as I can go.
I know I am as well. You've been scanned.
My next jump will be 44.8 light years.
One moment.
Keep up with that?
One moment.
Probably
one moment.
not.
One moment. Materials. Ship cargo. Synthesis. I'll do a standard FSD injection.
It'll take me 4 jumps to get back to Darwin research.
Yeah, I mean, if I do this, what I'm doing now, I'll get a bonus to my jumps. And then...
You'll burn materials pretty quickly.
Hang on a second. I've also got to do something else. I've got to turn on my enable wing beacon, and I've got to engage wingman nav lock. You're now in the nav lock. And I'm having trouble bringing the star around to align with you. There we are. Okay, you're 44 light seconds and 40 in falling. Scanning the star. Scanning the system. System scan complete. Stellar scan. Stellar surface scan complete. 13 light seconds. 12.5. 0.0. 11.
FNS Ambrosia is 6 light seconds and counting away from me.
Yep. Confirmed. 5. Proceed with your jump. I will follow you into your jump vortex. You're moving to California sector NCD C20. Frame shift charge auto engaged. Successful.
You're jumping now?
Yep.
I am fuel scooping at the moment.
Ready to engage.
Hang on. I have to point in the same direction as you, and I'm not. Scanning. 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 Throttle up to engage. 4, 3, 2, 1. Auto engage successfully. Unfortunately, you were sitting in front of a planet, and it was scanning the planet instead of your weight, so it wasn't working properly. There you are again. We'll do the throttle up in there time.
I'm throttled down at the moment, so I already got my shit targeted.
Fuel scoop is disengaged. You are 100 light seconds away. You may proceed with jump at your leisure. You have no shields.
I have no shield generator on my ship.
Frame shift.
Charging.
Drive activated. You are being escorted. But we're gonna have to.
Let's go engage. Engaging now. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yeah, you have to wait at the next star, because at the next star, I'm gonna need to.
I get there, I'll fuel scoop and throttle down until you show up.
Well, I have to
No worries.
refuel.
Well, I refuel at every star regardless. I can refuel, I do it. I've gotten in that habit.
Auto engage successful. Jumping.
Fuel scooping complete.
I have to practice, like, entering the vortex right after you. Now doing my fuel scoop. I'm orbiting the star with you, following you around. Temperature critical, ejecting heat sink.
Another benefit of having undersized modules, you don't generate as much heat when you're fuel scooping. I can get much closer to the star and not have heat issues.
Yeah, that's probably true. However, I'm almost full.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying you have to change your ship. I'm just saying that's one of the benefits I have found.
Yeah, I can also regenerate heat sinks at will. At the moment, I only have one left, but I can build others.
I don't know if I can synthesize any or not, but I got the advantage I rarely have to use them. So now, if I'm in my Corvette, I've got 2 heatsink launchers, and they're I don't know if they're engineered or not, but I use them every time I pop a shield charge booster. That's a requirement. I need to make a hotkey just for that sole purpose.
Yeah, I'm gonna scan this planet here. There's a planet in the system. It's probably worth a bit of money. And certainly it's worth reputation, so it's worth scanning. Now scanning the planet. It is a rocky planet. There's a moon. My drive was interrupted.
Yeah, I see that. Wing emergency drop detected.
One moment. I have to wait for my FSD to cool down now.
But I came across an interesting post that somebody put on about the way that Frontiers is programmed, or how it's kind of set up as far as like your FSD jumps.
Oh yeah?
The higher grade FSD drive that you have is less likely to have a misfire or a misjump. And if you're in a wing, the more drives that are hooked together to calculate the jumps and everything, the less likely you are to have a misjump.
Well, that's weird.
It's kind of cool. I don't know if I still... It was on my phone. I'd have to find my phone and look at it. But basically, what it was saying is that if you got, say, a full wing of 4 players in your wing, they could all have rated FSD drives, but as long as they're all slaved together, the 4 different drives and the computers work together as one, you're less likely to have problems jumping from one system to the next.
Oh, really?
Of course, you don't get as much jump range, but the efficiency of the drives increases.
Have you seen this moon on this planet here? Like, dude, this planet is the size of a pebble, and it's called a planet.
I'm I'm not in the I don't know if I'm even in the same system as you right now.
Yeah, you are.
Am I? Okay.
Yeah. Dude, I'm gonna check this planet out. Hang on. This planet is interesting.
Okay.
Like
I'm gonna eat my spicy sweet chili Doritos and drink some more
well,
vodka.
you should come to this planet because it's fucked up. Rocky world with little no surface metal. Common worlds like this have lost most of their volatiles due to past heating. It's tidally locked. What the hell? It doesn't. It says you can land on it, but there's no mineral content unless I'm missing like a. Hang on, this doesn't make any goddamn sense. What have I got here for modules? Please tell me I have a detailed scanner.
Orbital flight engaged.
Hold on a freaking minute here. Shield booster, multi-cannons, life support, fuel scoop, torpedo pylon, limpet controllers, launchers, point defense, advanced discovery scanner. No detailed scans are allowed. But man, this planet is screwy.
I believe it.
It's just fucked. I wish I had a vehicle because this looks like fun. I might come back here. That planet is one weird show. What are we in here? We're in California Sector RWD1. Duly noted. Oh, I just dropped out of friendship again. This time it was of my own free will though, so
Frameshift drive charging.
re-execute FSD. 3, 2, 1.
As of August 27th, 2018 at 11:42.48 p.m., I had 2.81 million credits in assets.
Huh.
According to Inara. Just for the fun of it, I'm going to update it and just see where I'm at. That ain't...
Oh no! I've used up too many mineral types, and now, because of my cadmium supply being too low, I've only got 6 standard jumps left. Fuck. I have arsenic and everything, what the hell?
Winry backup partition marker. The fuck is that?
This is all screwed up. Anyway, okay, so it says here you're lawless. Does that mean I can shoot at you? No, I don't think so.
You could, but it'd be a bad idea. I might decide not to wing with you again in the future.
Yeah, no, I don't plan on actually doing that, but...
Sometime when it's more organized and I have an interesting loadout to test out.
You have like a shield
try that?
and stuff? Right now you don't even have a shield.
Right now I'm a sitting duck.
Yeah, well I wouldn't destroy you, that's the other thing, is like, in a situation like this, you encounter a human opponent with no shield, you can take out their systems at will. So, why would you blow them up? You don't have to, you can just blow up their drive and there's nothing they can do.
I know shortly after I started playing this game, I didn't realize that I did it. I thought I was attacking a pirate, but I attacked another player. There's two or three players that were winged together flying through a system. I attacked one of them, at this point, I mean, we're 2 weeks into the game.
Yeah.
didn't realize that you could tell the difference between a commander and a pirate. I attacked. This dude spins around and just fucking cleans my clock. Leaves me floating in space so that I have to commit suicide and self-destruct.
Yeah.
It was an interesting lesson. I'm like, okay, dude, thank you for teaching me that lesson, but really, just fucking kill me next time. When I'm sitting here for 20 minutes trying to figure out what the hell.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have all kinds of systems damage and you can't do anything.
Yeah, you're sitting there trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
So according to Inara, now that I updated my journal, I have 2.9 million credit, 2.9 billion credits.
Holy
assets
shit.
and 4.78 million credits. Or 478 million, I'm sorry.
Hang on. According to this, I think I can see your ship. We're both at minimal, we're both flying the same model ship. And once we're close enough together, we should be able to identify each other's anacondas through the light. Now, according to
if I lock my scanners on you, I can see FNS Ambrosia, Anaconda, 1.7 million meters, Commander Trium Gus, Expert, Lawless, Aisling Duval.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm curious, what does Trium Gus actually mean? What is it?
Trium Augus is just the name of a character that I had from, I don't know, some game long ago when I was playing a Roman centurion. I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just kind of curious if there's what it actually means or
from
what
a role-playing game. I used to play with a university professor. I still think they play, actually. But
when I was 25 years ago, we had a Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So my brother and I are playing, and I decided to name my character in some stupid fishing game. Some bass fishing game. I don't remember the specifics anymore. But I decided to name my character Waddling Eskimo. That's how I get a squaddle.
Oh, I see.
Because it only gives you 8 letters for the name of the character, and once you hit the end of the 8 letters, it just reverted back to the beginning. And once I realized what it was doing, it was like Esquadal. It's like, okay, that sounds cool. That's pretty much been my gamer name ever since. I was probably 12 years old at the time. So sometimes the reasoning behind somebody's name is kind of entertaining to learn.
Yeah, there's been a couple people who have liked my Twitter account. Other elite players that are like following my Twitter account instead of my YouTube account. And I got quite a few followers on Twitter now. There's 49 of them, if you can believe it. And there's only like 7 or 8 subscriptions on YouTube, which is gradually growing, but very sluggish at first. I'm told you have to get a critical mass of people, and then after a while it just takes off. It goes viral on its own. I've been getting people in my work interested in the game because they're like, holy crap, you can actually use VR with this? Yeah.
Spike and I were chatting last night, and we were kind of talking about, maybe Spike's and my personality injections into your streaming sessions, maybe it'll make it better, more entertaining for other people.
Perhaps.
Yeah, you just flew beside me here and flew up in front of me.
Oh, because I hit a button I didn't want to hit.
Oh, now you throttled down. You're staying pretty consistent at 58 light seconds in front of me.
Yeah, it's about to change.
You ever decide to have fun with pirates or anything that's interdicting you, an NPC? Just go to 0 throttle in Super Cruise, and it's entertaining because it takes forever to get around behind you and point at you so they can actually interdict you.
Yeah.
I've had a few of them take 20 minutes before they could finally interdict me.
Well, I've definitely done that before.
Now you're heading back towards me.
Well, there's a pair of commanders that apparently had this scenario unfold where they actually ended up being able to see each other in jump space, like in witch space. And
something I was reading about this saying that the game won't actually allow you to do that.
Yeah.
It won't render you in Super Cruise or witch space.
I don't know. There was a picture with this other article, and they claimed that this was evidence that they had done this somehow, but I didn't. I mean, it's very tough to tell from a picture, like,
yeah,
whether or not that's actually what's going on. Okay, you can jump whenever you're ready.
Warning, contains alcohol. Really? Why else do you think I opened the can and started drinking it?
Where are we going next?
California sector HW-W space C1-6. It is 45.8 light years.
I can't even see where that is.
I've got it targeted if you want to. I don't know if you got a hotkey so you can target my target.
No, I can only target. Well, yeah, I do. I could target your target, but I don't have a. I don't remember what the hotkey is for it. But I can always just
push this one to target you, then push this one to target target's target.
Or I could just follow you into hyperspace.
I have like 20 buttons on my HOTAS controls, so my hands don't have to leave their positions very often.
Yeah, I should get a HOTAS myself.
I think I can buy the HOTAS setup I have right now, the Thrustmaster, whatever the hell's I've got, for probably $125 for the pair. I need to replace my joystick because one of the electronic board went to shit. The side of it, I don't know why. I tore it apart and looked at it. I can't fix it, so think about just major rework to it just for the hell of it. See if I can bastardize it.
Your hyperdrive has engaged. I am following.
Unfortunately, the function that no longer works on this control is my secondary trigger.
You're jumping in 2, 1, jump.
Right now.
Jumping.
I'll throttle down and see if you land right on my tail.
FSD drive auto engaged. Three, 2, 1. Exiting hyperspace now. Holy crap.
What?
I almost hit the sun. I've done that to like people that were chasing me through hyperspace before. You turn around and then they're screwed because they always come from behind you, right? So they teleport like right up against the star, and then they can't follow you, so they end up losing FSD lock. And then you jump away, and there's not much else they can do because they've lost FSD lock.
Yeah, considering I'm done scooping fuel, but I'm right up by the surface of the star. It's kind of nice to be able to do that when you get random NPC pirates wanting to interdict you.
Yeah.
You just go fuel scoop and they fuck up and they can't follow.
Can't follow, sorry. You're dead.
Are you able to follow me?
What's that?
Are you following me? I'm like at 0 throttle right now.
I'm actually jumping away momentarily. Oh, hang on. I buggered that up.
Frameshift drive charging.
Jumping in.
I've got one jump left. This next jump will take us back to Darwin.
Darwin, yeah. That's why I'm able to do it without a recharge. 3, 2, 1, jump. And coming up on Darwin research immediately. So close to the star. We have illegal passengers. Oh no! What does that mean?
You know what? I'm getting more and more curious to actually buy an Imperial Clipper and a Fertile Lance just to have them so I can...
Fair to last, I don't know.
fly
I think
around
the
with 'em.
crate probably renders it obsolete now. I'm not sure, but
The Fertile Lance is the ultimate PvP ship.
yeah, it is from what I'm hearing.
If you want to do some ganking, if you want to gank bigger ships, you use the Imperial Clipper.
Yeah, that's right.
But I've entertained the thought of buying them just so I have those options, not that I'm going to use them. Well, I'm curious to just see what I could do with a fucking crate. The crate is like stupid fast and stupid maneuverable compared to
Everything.
even my Eagles.
Yeah.
My Eagles, the crate is pretty... Could probably chase my Eagles down, and my Eagles are all set up for high maneuverability or high speed.
We're here now. Contact. Requesting docking clearance from Darwin facility.
I'm running out of potential names for ships.
What the hell is this? We've got a human in here. Is that you?
Really? No, I'm still in Super Cruise.
No, this is a crate.
Three light seconds out.
It's NPC crate.
Silent running.
Last heat sink going into silent running. Stand by.
Temperature critical.
Warning! 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 Warning!
What's your warning about?
Trespass.
Yeah, your shields are knocked out. What the hell did you do?
Access denied.
Docking request was denied. I thought I had approval.
Temperature critical. Thermal signature restored.
Coming through and entering station. Stand by. This is going to be a risky maneuver. We are likely going to be scanned.
Decrease speed to within safe limits, Commander.
I'm going to get a speeding warning yet.
I'm using auto dock at the moment.
We are in the station. We are at Bay 2. Below us. Oops. Landing gears being expanded.
500 meters from touchdown.
500 meters from touchdown. Standing by. Infrastructure warning. Let's see here, where are we? Oh.
So let's see how I do on this 478 million credits. See how I pull out as far as profit.
You're aligned perfectly with Bay 2.
You're still trying to land?
Yeah. I was in danger. I was trying to stop myself from actually crashing into anything.
Oh.
I had Bay 2, which was right up against the doorway, so I couldn't just up and land wherever I wanted.
Oh, 531 million compared to 478.
Shields regenerated.
Contact confirmation.
I made 53 million on that run.
Not bad. Let's see what I did.
No. Unfortunately, though, I had to do a lot of fucking around to actually fill my cargo bays. I have 531 million in my balance. That's an all-new high for me.
I have a trespass fine. 400 credits. No other bounties. Okay. Passenger lounge. I've started 43.8 million. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Completing mission 1. 1.15 million. 1.8 million. Faction 1 complete. 2.1 million. Fully allied now with Turner Research. No further advancement possible. Faction 3, Albert Evans. 2.244 million. That's with Far-Flung Entertainment, now at neutral standing. Unable to get cordial out of them. So I'm completely allied with one faction, almost allied with the Order of Exemplars, or Dissemblers, or whatever they call themselves, and Far-Flung Entertainment I'm almost cordial. I'm already cordial with Deep Space Investigations. Total acquired 50.1 million credits.
It might not be too bad.
So that was after 6 modules worth of passengers being returned. 1 to the blue sector for 2.1 million. Best I could do under the circumstances, because I do not have alliance standing with absolutely everyone. However, I have a damaged ship, and passengers will not board with me at the moment.
Oh, I had the same problem.
What?
Damaged ship, no one would board.
Yeah, well,
I had to fix my shit.
we have fixed everything. Universal Cartographics, there will be some money here. 387,000 more, thanks to mapping activity and exploration. Our standing with the Exemplars is now advanced to allied. We're now allied with 2 of the factions. So as you can see, the exploration is not completely useless.
It serves a purpose if you want to take the time.
Well, I also like exploring. Like, there's constantly new shit being found in this game, and I want to be part of it. So I actually have discovered 2 Nebula class, pulsars, have my name on them. And several systems that are more towards the core of the galaxy are also, I've got credit for their discovery, and all the planets inside. So I like that, because then you get your name on it. And discovery of 2 neutron stars also is a feature. If you check out my badges in EDSM.net, I get credit for all that stuff. Now let's check out the passenger lounge. What say you now? Pathetic. Betty Small seeks a sightseeing adventure to the Alliance outpost in the California Nebula, and she's a criminal. What a surprise.
I got 3 passenger bays not filled at the moment.
Ooh, a 5
Wait
million.
until the board regenerates.
I've also got a 5 million credit mission to Little Blue. That might be worth it, actually.
Oh, that's what I'm looking for, is the Little Blue missions at the moment. I need 3 more before I'm ready to take off.
Okay. In that case, we'll pick a cabin. These ones all want first class. They will not accept anything other than first class, so we'll take first class. So 5 million for Little Blue. 2.1 for the California Nebula. And is a criminal. $6 million if you can go to Mick Turner Bark Mounds plus Little Blue.
I've got a few of them.
But I can't go there. And I can go visit Little Blue directly for 3.6 million. That one might be worth it. They are secretive. Being scanned greatly reduces passenger satisfaction. Requires elite standing. Sorry, this is BD 74526B3A, Ice Geysers. I thought it was Little Blue. It is not. It is 1,000 light years away. I'm declining the mission. Okay, so that's from the controlling faction. Next. Criminal. Criminal. And more criminals. So Turner Research is ferrying criminals all over the place. Far-Flung Entertainment has for us 2 missions of interest. Alliance Outpost in Little Blues, number 1. We'll take that one for Trailblazer standing, and it's 10 hours, 49 minutes. We gotta go there, okay. Accept the contract. Ooh, there's only 1 spot left. Hang on. Fine, let's go to the other one for Louisa. Also, the Alliance Outpost, California Nebula, and Little Blue, and we have 16 hours. We'll take that one. Pick cabin, please. And we have more choices. We will take the first class, and we will also take the other mission because it will fit. Okay, and we have 1 left for, sorry, 3 left in Far-Flung Entertainment. Again, California Nebula and Little Blue, or California Nebula, Little Blue, and both are demanding, both want 16 hours. We'll take the 16-hour one. They will accept economy. Yeah, pick cabin. Okay, we've got a full roster. I have to go to the Alliance base in where McTurner is, and then I'm off to Little Blue. So we'll do that now, while you are waiting.
I'm waiting for the mission board to regenerate.
You will probably catch up because I'm not going to be able to use the FSD extensions anymore. But this time I would like, instead of taking a extra limpet module for you, I would like to take a detailed surface scanner. So that's what I'm going to go do right now. Is go get my detailed surface scanner from the equipment system, which is, of course, on the prison ship. I have no criminals with me this time. Well, according to this, I do have 1 illegal passenger. So we still have to hide. And skulk about.
Ship coupling disengaged. Be wary of traffic on your way out.
Traffic inbound. Stand by. Type 7 cargo vessel. It nearly hit me, but it missed. Laid in a new course for the quarry.
Frameshift drive charging.
One jump.
Your way is clear. Good luck, Commander.
Approaching the quarry. For 1,000 kilometers mark. 3,000. 2,000 kilometers. And dropping into which space? Into normal space, beg your pardon. Granted landing clearance if they want.
Landing gear deployed.
no scan was attempted by the court.
Ship is down. Back to services for more information, Commander.
Refueling and outfitting. Okay, so we have an optional internal that we don't want anymore, which is oh dear. Well, the limpet control looks like it's getting sacrificed for detailed scanning. Transfer options, please. Hang on. I just realized there is a problem. We are missing our scanner. $2 hours for a detailed surface scanner class 1C to arrive. I don't know what happened to my other detailed surface scanner. That's bizarre. I just lost a detailed surface scanner somehow. There's no explanation as to how this happened. It just vanished. And it's not located anywhere else. So someone has either sold my detailed surface scanner or something. It just seems to have vanished. Okay. Okay. Conductive ceramics are a component found in ships frequently used by haulage vessels. Destroyed haulage vessels can be scavenged from the aftermath of combat in shipping lanes, known to be salvaged from signal sources and anarchy systems. Wasn't that special? Can you explain to me how components can just vanish out of your locker without any explanation? I didn't think so. Okay, well, I've got to wait for an hour, so I'm going to log off for a bit. If I don't catch you on again tonight, we'll catch you on tomorrow. You still there? I think he's asleep. Good night, Squaddle. And I believe we caught him snoring. Anyway, yep, this is Commander Trium. I'm at the quarry. We are signing off for a little while. This could be for the evening as well, since we have 16 hours of available time. We can do this again, we can pick this up in the morning. This is Commander Trium inviting you once again to take a look at the properties in this video on YouTube. By using the More Slider widget, you can find out the addresses to our websites, where information is tracked on an ongoing basis on Twitter and on a blog hosted on WordPress. You can also click I like or subscribe button as suits your preference. The bell icon under Google Chrome for Windows 10 will give you a Google Mini Dialogue anytime new content of any kind is posted to Commander Trium's video flight log. This is Commander Trium. I'm signing off. Probably for the night, at least for the next couple of hours. Thanks again for watching, and fly safe, Commanders. Commander Trium signing off.